This is the brand new Supermarine Spearfish 32 and I am a little bit in love. This is absolutely beautiful. Now they build these in the UK on the south coast near Chichester, and you've got to think of this a bit like an aquatic Aston Martin. Very beautifully put together, absolutely stunning looking and seriously high performance. And it starts right here with a very deep V hull. You can see there that is a boat that's designed for moving, and look at the way they flared this out so the spray comes up straight out. And the anchor as well, ultramarine anchor concealed actually in the stem rather than hanging over the front, which is a nice feature. These are docking lights. You can put those on as you come into the marina to give you a bit more light if you need it. But just look at the lines of this. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. I like the colour scheme. I love the orange band they put on this. Of course, that kind of thing is owner specification. You can choose to have whatever you want. They've gone for the orange Supermarine badging on the side as well, which I think is great. But from every angle and every detail, look at these little stainless steel sections on the side here. It's just a beautiful, beautiful machine. If we look under the back here, she's on out drives. She's got the Bravo 3 drives. You can see underneath there, they're twin propeller drives. So that's given the boat its performance, which we'll talk about obviously in a minute when we go on board. But let's head on and I'll give you the full tour first of all. Now the idea of this boat really is it's like a sort of a, what you might have called in the olden days, a gentleman's express. It's the sort of thing you go out for a weekend with your friends or your family and just have a great time. But it's a very capable boat. It's actually a category B, so it's a proper offshore machine. Sort of thing you could run from Devon over to Channel Islands for lunch and then back in the evening if you wanted to, but also there's space to stay on it if you want to. So if you start right at the back here, you can see there's these twin sun pads on the back. That's great when you're lying at anchor. This little fella over here is a shower on the back when you come out from swimming. And if we head on here, you'll see that actually as we go forward, we drop down and into the cockpit, and that's what gives this such a low profile, because you come down into it, whereas on a lot of boats, the engine hatch is your floor level all the way through, and that raises the whole boat up. You've got seating all the way around. You sit quite deep in this, which is quite nice. So you've got plenty of shelter. And what is clever is you've got that very easy walk through just here. But if we lift this one up, that slots into there, and then that one comes out, and you can see there's a cushion on the side. You just flip it over and slide it into there, and that extends the seating all the way around. Sort of thing, if an evening you've got a few friends on board, you drop that into place, but most of the time you just leave it like that and get really easy access on and off. The detailing on this I think is fantastic. So for example, it's got Fusion speakers, but they weren't happy with the standard Fusion speaker grills, so they made their own stainless steel grills with the Supermarine logo on. It's that level of attention to detail I think is so wonderful. There's storage underneath these. If I lift this one up, you can see the lid to it there. So all this is storage in behind there as well. And on this one, what they've done is they put a small wet bar on. So you've got this with your sink, and then this one opens for a bit of storage underneath. But what you can have as an option if you prefer, and I probably would, is to utilize this space so that you've got a much bigger bar area with a barbecue and a fridge. But as I say, it just depends what you want. Now under the floor here, these are access hatches, and we use this just to undo these like so, and then lift, and that's a pretty decent sized storage area. So you could put maybe an inflatable paddleboard or other bits and pieces down to there, fenders, deck gear, all that kind of stuff. Has got somewhere to live. But what also is interesting is that this one takes you down to the fuel tank. And that's great because when you've got the boat for a long period of time, for example, if you've got dirty fuel, it means you can get the top off and you can get into that very easily. A lot of times on boats, the fuel tank gets hidden away. If you have any problems, you've got a real issue dealing with it. So that's nice. Let's pop that back in there. This is just a little lift up table. So to pop your drinks on. And then what you also have is, you can see we've got the bimini up at the minute. It's a nice shade, which we need today because it's really warm here at the moment. This will fold forward against the arch, or you can infill this all the way around and just make this a big enclosed area at night if you want to. If we head forward again, now you notice these really cool seats right across here. These are actually shock mitigation seats. So if we have a look down the back here, you can actually see suspension units. And that means that when these are lifted up, you just pull that lever there, that clicks into place like that. You've then got a proper suspension seat to absorb the shock when you're running fast, and this is a properly fast boat. However, A lot of people just run with them down and just stand at the helm, and that's a really nice position then to command the boat from, because if you stood here, that's your view out over this beautiful sweep of stainless steel windscreen down that lovely foredeck. It's a really evocative driving position. I come back to that Aston Martin analogy again, because it's like that. It's the feeling of occasion on a boat like this. I'm absolutely blown away by it. It's fantastic. I love the carbon fibre that they've set into the dash just here. You've got the twin screens, so that displays your engine instrumentation, your chart plotter, all that kind of stuff. This is a zip wake trim tab controller. So this is automatic trim tabs, but you can just tweak that if you want to change the roll of the boat, so that way, or the pitch, which is this way, you just control it that way, or you just hit the auto button and it will take care of it for you. Your throttle controls are here, so into gear and then throttling up, and your trim controls are on there as well for your out drives. But this is a joystick, and this means that at low speed you can control the whole boat. You can drive it sideways, push it forward, spin it round, all from there, all very simple. And that little fella you can see there says Skyhook. What that does is when you hit that button, it uses GPS and it locks the boat in position, so it uses the engines and the steering just to gently hold it against the tide or the wind, exactly where you put it. And that little fella there is a kill cord, so you can attach that to yourself when you're doing super high speeds. If you were to get knocked off the helm, it would cut the engines. If we look across here, I do love the way they've done all these switches. So you've got bilge pump switches across here, for example, windlass switches are here. This is a control for these, so these are touch screens, but it means that when you're going fast, you've just got to reach that and you can toggle through that without having to sort of, you know, bounce around trying to hit the buttons on the screen. So that's a nice idea. And then that one down there is a bow thruster, so you've got that control there as well. Now if we head on over, I'll slip my shoes off and we'll head inside. So this, again, you've got to think about this almost sort of like a coupe rather than a family car, because you don't get the mid cabin on a boat like this because it's such a low profile narrow boat. What you get is this wonderful area in here, so a nice seating area, loads of headroom. Actually, I was really surprised looking at the boat from the outside. I'm 6'2", plenty of space here at the galley. And if we look at the galley, it's got some nice features like a Miele coffee machine. You've got Miele cooking here and here. Fridge is down underneath. A lot of storage about the place in places like this. This is access to more of the systems of the boat. You can just see down there the shower drain. And this here, that's the lid for here. So if you want a bit more workspace, you can drop that onto there. But if you're not using it, you've got somewhere to put it. And then a bit more storage and a bit more access down underneath that one. What else have we got? Storage up in places like this for your plates. And that's some of the switch gear for the boat up there as well. And you'll notice it says saloon table. This one hasn't actually got it fitted at the minute, but there is a saloon table that will go in here, and then that drops down to infill as a double bed if you want to sleep on it. And I do love these butter and punch handles. I hope you can see that. Lovely. Up here then, there's control systems for the boat is here. This mirrors what's on the dashboard, so you can get into charts, but you can also control from here things like the lighting. So if we go into Lumishore, just there, this controls the colour of the internal lighting. If I turn that over, you'll see the lights inside. We've gone for green now, right the way across, and if I spin that around all the way to the end there, there we go. See how they've gone red? So you can choose your colours, you can choose your warmth. But also that controls all the other systems on the boat as well. So you can get to things like the engines from here, see how much fuel you've got, that kind of thing. Speakers in here again, more storage around. These are blinds that drop down like so. So you've got windows there. But what you've also got is some fairly serious skylights up here. So two are opening. Come around here, you can see that a bit better. There we go. So loads of ventilation into here, and then a fixed one in the centre. And there's a TV up there as well, so you can sit here in the evening, put a cushion against this, put your feet up, watch a film with the weather's not quite so nice. If we come around here, this again, more storage in places like this. That is the actual stereo unit, the Fusion stereo, and then there is a hanging locker here, and since we're at a boat show, it has a boat show blazer in it, which is de rigueur at boat shows. Unless it's a really hot day like today. The other thing I didn't show you actually just in this area is up in behind here, because this is quite neat. If we pull this off, these both come off like that, and what that does is it gives you a load more leg room down here, so you've got full length to lie out. But also these are the infill cushions, so when your table's here, you drop your table down, take those out, and that's how you infill it. So you've got somewhere to put them, because there's nothing worse than having infill cushions flying around a boat. I'm doing this one-handed, so I can't put that back very well, but that'll be fine for the moment. And then we head on back round here. We've got the heads. That's in here. And again, we're back far enough where we've got decent headroom again as we come into here. Pretty much stand up, not quite, but close enough. And then the shower is in here, that comes out of there. Again, more storage in places like this. That is the gauge for the holding tank. So that tells you how much contents you've got there. And that then is storage in behind there. And you can see where we changed the lighting out there. We've changed the lighting in here as well for red, which is very nice. Love this bowl in here. Very good. Okay, let's head on back a bit further and I'll talk to you about the engines. So if we come right on back, in fact what we'll do first I think is take a walk around the decks and then we'll come back to the engines. That's the proper way of doing an alcoholic tour, isn't it? So we'll step out here very carefully because we're rather a long way up and head down the side decks. Now they've kept this one completely low profile. There's no rails at all around the outside, just those two handrails on the coach roof. You can have a pulpit rail if you want, so there is rails around the front if you choose to specify them. As I say, they've kept this for its looks. And if you come right up to the front, this is the inside of that anchor that we saw on the front. It doesn't go over the front, it goes up underneath and you can see it there. That's where that sits, so you can get to that easily. I love these black pop-up cleats. So they drop up like that to put your lines on them when you're not using them. Drop down out of sight, and in fact they've put two sets of spring cleats on it. You can see down on the side, one there, where are we? One there and one back there. The other thing we've got here is this little locker. And what this does is gives us access to the anchor winch. Also there's a freshwater washdown, that's what that pipe there is. The anchor winch control, you can see that just there, but there's also space for 4 fenders. So when you come out of the berth and you want to put your fenders somewhere, you can drop them into here out of the way, which is very helpful. But look at this boat from here. Look at that. That is fantastic, isn't it? That is a proper high performance machine in terms of looks and in terms of performance. Let's go and look at that next. Let's get the old engine hatch up. Grab hold of this. That's a great cockpit layout, isn't it? Very sociable. Plenty of room for everybody. Okay, I'll step back onto here, and then to get the engines up, it's that button just there. Now in here we have a pair of Mercruiser 370 horsepower diesel engines. There we go. Now these are actually the blocks from the Audi, the big Audi diesels, the V8 diesels, so the Audi Q7 and cars like that have these in, albeit only one. This has got two, of course. So they're 4.2 litres each, they're V8s, and they are giving out 370 horsepower, as the name suggests, and that's given this boat a top speed. Well, they've only had it out at top speed once, and that apparently was in a bit of rough water. Nonetheless, they had 46 knots out of it. And that means you've got a 40 knot cruising speed, which is absolutely fantastic. I mean, that is really, really covering ground. It means you could come out of Torquay, where I keep my boat, and you could be in Plymouth a little more than an hour later. It's just amazing. It means you can really cover ground. And because it has that super deep V hull, of course, you can do it even if it's chopping up, which is fantastic. You can see how my mind's working, can't you? I'm selling this to myself. I like the lighting they put in here, these strips down either side, and this is all sound deadening. I'm told it's really quiet even at high speed, and I'm kind of hoping that maybe at some stage we might get to go out on one of these, but obviously not today because it's sat in a car park effectively at a boat show. Range on this one, you're looking about 350 miles at high speed. So again, from Torquay you're out to Channel Islands and back again, no problem. Let's drop that back down. And that, I think, is about that. Where we're going to finish up. Let's finish up here at the helm. That's the ultimate place to be on this boat, isn't it? So there you go. Supermarine Spearfish 32, absolutely incredible boat. And yes, I do want one very much indeed. Huge thanks to you guys for watching, and huge thanks to Supermarine for sorting out that tour for me. And fingers crossed, maybe we'll even get a go on one day. Let me know what you think of this one, and we'll catch you on another one of these tours very soon. Take care. Bye-bye.